Welcome back to The Outright Effect, a podcast in which unique perspectives challenge us to be better versions of ourselves. I'm Tempsy.
And I'm Shelly.
And today we're talking about celebrations and milestones. Everybody has a different perspective as to how they celebrate, what they celebrate, when they celebrate, and how far out they go with these celebrations.
Yeah.
So I think we just wanted to have a good discussion around that.
So some of the things that we were talking about is what we consider important holidays or things to celebrate and how we prioritize. So for me, I think it depends on how connected I feel to the particular holiday or event. I also think that the importance changes over time. Like, let's say something might have been more important to me when I was younger, let's say Christmas or something like that. Or for me, since a lot of my family is Japanese, we did celebrate some Japanese holidays, probably not super traditionally, but I think that was also a way for my parents and grandparents to incorporate some learning aspect into me growing up and how like Japanese culture, elements of it and that kind of stuff. So I think that over time, some of the Japanese cultural things like around New Year's and stuff like that was a little bit more prominent when I was younger. But now I wouldn't say they're not important to me. I think I just don't do as much because I don't have as much information as I had when I had all these like relatives, making certain types of food and like that kind of stuff. But yeah, I still think that's like an important thing. But I think nowadays a more scaled down version of that.
Sure. Yeah, for me, it's very similar. Most of the stuff we celebrated, things like 4th of July, Christmas, Thanksgiving, those are the typical holidays, but we still definitely recognize Veterans Day and Labor Day, MLK Day, all very important, but I don't think we go all out as much as we did in the past. My brother's a veteran, so I always say,
Happy
thank
Veterans
you for
Day.
your service.
Yeah.
Happy Veterans Day. So that's definitely important, but it's not like what we used to do in the past.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's something I always think about too, is like what kind of traditions or just traditions do I want to have for my son? It's so prominent in the past, but I think we're getting to the age where there's just a different mindset about how you celebrate things, as the folks who did the celebrating or initiated it in the past, where our grandparents or whoever it might be aren't there to do those things anymore, so it's up to us to make that, and you have to make a conscious decision to do it. So I do struggle with that a little bit.
I think that's a good point too, because people who may have been around when it first became a thing, they might have had a certain connection to it at that time that we are just not aware of because we weren't alive back then,
right?
Truthfully. But I will honestly say that I am terrible at remembering when holidays are. Like, I suck at that. I know when the main ones are, like when you're like 4th of July, obviously July 4th, or like New Year's, the first day of the year. But any other holiday, like, I'm really terrible at it. The only time that I was good at it is when I was working at a grocery store and we would carry everything for every single holiday, and you would see it like weeks ahead of time. So you're like, oh yeah, this thing is coming up. Right. But now I'm not in that environment anymore. I don't see all the decorations, balloons, cards and whatnot, like decorated cookies. But so now I'm just honestly not good at remembering like when these things even come up.
I feel like if you're in HR though, you know about them more because payroll.
That's true. Or like, we're closed on this one day or whatever.
So you have to be cognizant when the pay date falls and what that's going to affect. So I feel like that had more of an impact of when I started to recognize these holidays a little bit earlier than I used to in the past. But then once I had a child, I started to document it in my bullet journal because I was like, I want to help him understand Easter and all these good things that he's not going to understand until he goes to preschool. And even then, they're going to pick and choose what they want to, promote. Or,
Or talk about in the classroom.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. What about Valentine's Day? What do you guys do for Valentine's Day?
So I would say our Valentine's Day is pretty chill, but mostly because it's just too busy. Like, I don't know. I don't want to fight a crowd to just go eat at a certain restaurant or anything like that. So typically I would say we quote unquote celebrate it at home, where we like maybe cook something that we normally wouldn't cook, something that takes a little bit more time or something like that. I definitely don't want to fight over reservations or being in a crowded room, but I do like flowers, so Chris does get me flowers. He has a certain flower shop that he likes to go to, and he likes to request certain types of flowers.
Nice.
But a general assortment, so he'd be like, I just want something nice, but make sure like this and that is in there too. And then it's just kind of a surprise.
Cute. I love that. Love it. Yeah, same thing. I don't want to fight the crowds. I don't want to fight for reservations. I've never felt like I needed a big to do for Valentine's Day. And so we've never been big on it. But my husband every once in a while gets me flowers or, whatever the case might be. One time he got me a big card that somebody gave to him that they didn't want anymore. And it was blank and he didn't write anything in it. And I was like,
Hello.
don't ever do that again. Just because it's like you couldn't even think of something thoughtful to write in it. But honestly, he tells me how much he cares for me every day, so it's not a big deal. But I was just like, that just seems unnecessary. Like, don't even bother then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, just like flowers and things like that. But it's just not a big deal for us. So it's kind of similar.
Yeah. What about birthdays? Any birthdays you like to celebrate or get ready for?
I mean, my son's for sure. I mean, we've talked about that a lot. His first birthday was a big to do just because that's a typical thing to do here in Hawaii. But my birthday and my husband's birthday, we stopped celebrating those as much. When I was younger, I definitely did. We had a party every year. My mom had a budget and we would just have a cute little party. But nowadays, it's not really necessary. Although my husband has a big birthday coming up soon and we have a big anniversary coming up soon. So I think I'm probably going to do something
Yeah.
nice for that.
Yeah.
Just because it's like milestone stuff,
Right.
like
Yep.
10 years of being together. He's turning 40. He's becoming an old man.
Oh my God.
I'm sure he's going to love that. So you got to celebrate that.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of celebrate my birthdays. I think it just depends. I mean, this year we're doing like a chocolate factory thing. So I think that's cool. I think
I'm
this is
excited.
like my opportunity to find like cool, unusual things to do. I think that's what it is. But I also celebrate my dog's birthday. People probably think I'm weird. I was talking about this to somebody recently. But my dog, do you think he knows when his birthday is? No. Do you think he knows what a birthday is? No. But I bake him cookies and I give them to his quote unquote friends, which are dogs that belong to my coworkers,
Yeah.
and they all play together. But I do make him cookies from scratch. They're made out of eggs, water, wheat, and something else like pumpkin or I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
And I roll it out with a rolling pin and cut them out into dog bone shapes, and we bake them. But I don't know. I mean, that's what I do as a dog parent.
I mean, as a parent, you have to kind of decide what your thought process and mentality is going to be for birthdays. And for me moving forward, until he gains friends, like he starts making friends and things like that, it's kind of up to us.
Like in school. And yeah.
And one thing that my sister-in-law did for her daughter recently for her third birthday is the whole family, immediate family, her parents, us, we all went to, well, I didn't end up going because I wasn't feeling well, but the family went to the Croc Center. And it's like, the Croc Center is basically, it has this huge
giant
water
rec center,
slide.
yeah.
It's a big rec center with a gym and all this kind of stuff. But outside is a big pool play area
yep.
for kids. And they had a lot of fun.
That's good.
So,
Yeah.
but it's simple,
Right,
because
right.
you don't need to go all out every
Right.
single
Yeah.
year until they start making friends and want to start inviting them to a birthday because they're
Like
going
a
to see
fun thing,
other
right?
people
Yeah.
having birthdays, right? So I think that's going to be my strategy
Yeah.
for now. And then we'll see because who knows.
Yeah, and honestly, I think I do the dog thing as like it's just kind of a fun laugh for myself because I'm like the dog doesn't even know what's going on here, but
I'm sure he appreciates
I mean
it,
he likes food anyway, so I'm sure I put a little hat on him and everything. It's pretty funny. He doesn't like that either. I think I'm just like it's funny for me. That's why I do it.
Why not? All right. Well, what about anniversaries? How do you guys celebrate your anniversary, or do you?
I would say I guess it depends. So we'll go on a trip somewhere near our anniversary, but it's never like exactly when our anniversary is. But I feel like that's how we celebrate our anniversary. And we actually never really planned like a real honeymoon. We planned like a mini moon, I guess. So, but I mean, it was kind of long. Like we went to LA for about 10 days, I think. I think it was 10 days, somewhere around there. It was definitely over a week. So I think my thought on anniversary trips is almost like having, like if we did one big trip a year, it's almost like having a honeymoon every single year, kind of. I don't know.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. For me, it's been on and off because because our dating and wedding anniversary are really close together. So some days we'll celebrate, or some years we'll celebrate all at once. Some years we won't. Like I think last year we didn't even celebrate because we have our son now and everything like that. And I think we're in Vegas. So, my husband was trying to get into the WSOP, and I was happy doing my own thing, like painting the town
Cruising.
red
Yep.
in Vegas. So I don't think we ended up doing anything. I'm sorry, hun, if we did and I forgot, but he's used to that. I forget everything.
That's funny that you mentioned that your dating and wedding anniversary are close. Like how close? Within like a week or days, or because ours is really close too. It's like 2 days difference.
It's like 12 days difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yours is how many?
2 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's actually how we planned the date of our wedding. We're like, what's the closest Saturday to our...
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we did that on purpose too. Plus, it was only one of the only weekends available at the location that we wanted to get married. So I will say, though, that as anniversaries go, it's probably a really important thing to celebrate. Over time, if you allow those kind of celebrations to go by the wayside, you may find yourself losing connectivity with your loved one. So I think that I personally am going to be more intentional about making sure we do something, because in the past we've just been kind of in the mindset of like Valentine's Day, it's a commercial holiday, we don't really need to celebrate it. Oh, Christmas, we buy things we need throughout the year. We're not really big spenders per se, so we don't need to get each other gifts. But it's not just about the gift. It's kind of like the thought that you put into it for, say, Christmas. You're appealing to that person's kind of senses of what you know about them. And it shows a lot of thought and consideration when you buy them a thoughtful gift. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's more showing the love rather than the actual physical gift.
Right.
Does that, if that makes sense?
Yep.
So even though we haven't done these kinds of things as much in the past, I think we're going to be, or I'm at least going to be a little bit more intentional. I gave my husband a heads up. Hey, I got you a Christmas gift. Just heads up. I'm not saying you have to get me one, but I think that I want to start getting gifts. Doesn't have to be extravagant. It just has to be thoughtful.
Yeah.
And so that's what we did.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like shopping for gifts, so. I mean,
Me
I like
too,
shopping,
because
period.
I like the anticipation of them
Being
opening
like,
it.
oh, cool. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, so next we have like work anniversaries. So Tempsy, do you ever celebrate any work? I know like we do this at work for employees, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? But any other thoughts you have on work anniversaries?
I mean, I will say that I do feel really good when I have another year under my belt at my work, but I don't feel the need to be celebrated, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. However, I will say that if you're working at a company where you celebrate anniversaries, just this may seem common sense, but you'd be surprised. My advice is to make sure you celebrate everybody's anniversary. If you're going to celebrate one person's and say happy anniversary, you got to say happy anniversary to others. If you do one thing for them, like you give them a card from the president or anything like that, got to make sure it's done for everybody, or don't do anything at all.
Oh yeah.
Like I swear,
You don't want it to seem unfair.
It seems like common sense, but trust me, it's weird.
Yeah. I think work anniversaries for people who have put in a ton of time, I think that is something to call out.
So if you
know?
celebrate milestone years,
Right.
that's fine too.
Yeah.
But just make sure you do it for everybody.
Right.
And if you don't have a good process and you're not able to track it well, then don't bother, because you're going to cause more damage than anything else.
Right.
So
especially when someone's like, oh, I worked here for 40 years. I'm like, man, I haven't even been alive that long. There hasn't been one thing that I've been doing that long yet.
yeah, that's definitely worth celebrating for sure.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you think about work anniversaries or work anniversaries?
Work anniversaries. I don't know. I just like using work anniversaries as a name, and I do tell people happy work anniversary when I know that it's their work anniversary.
It's fun to say.
Yeah, for my own, I mean, I'll be honest. The only time I'm really concerned about my own work anniversary is when I'm getting something more out of it, like more vacation time or something like that. But I don't know. I also think that, in our world of maybe being millennials and not spending I mean, we're also not old enough to spend that much, like 30 years at a job yet or anything. So I think that maybe our generation takes work anniversaries less seriously because we know we're going to be changing something about what we're doing.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the way.
Probably. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Okay, so now that we're talking about work anniversaries and things like that, what about promotions? Do you celebrate any promotions that you get, or, do you feel like that's something that should be celebrated or called out in some way?
I definitely think you should celebrate all positive things that happen in your life. But for me, I might just buy myself a new bag or something. not anything expensive. It's just probably like Coach outlet bag, but or go to dinner with my family. But I feel like if you're getting to another level from a financial standpoint, that's more opportunity to save and invest rather than spend on frivolous stuff. Trust me, it took a while for me to get in this mindset. It hasn't always been this way, and I am the worst at Target runs. I will always go crazy. I've gotten a lot better at it, but I just feel like there's an opportunity to save money and take it as the mindset of, this isn't just more money for me to spend, it's more money for me to save for my family's future. So I just try to be minimal about it. Just either go to dinner with my family, buy myself like a $90 bag, and call it a day.
Yeah.
Oh, plus tell everybody.
Oh
Call my
God.
mom and be like, you have something new to put on their fridge, Mom. Something else new to put in
too
your
funny.
Christmas card. But yeah, what about you?
For me, I think honestly, I use this as an opportunity or excuse. I mean, whatever word you want to use, to buy something nice for myself that I was going to buy anyway.
Yeah, true.
Like it was on my list of like, I want to buy this thing. Oh, look, perfect. Now I can reward myself. I'll just go buy it now.
How long is your list of things that you want to buy?
I don't know. So I'll be honest, I forget of I don't actually make a physical list. Like I don't actually keep track of these things. It's just that things that I have in mind, because I also feel like, there are some things that I won't care as much about at some point, at the point where I'm actually buying it. So I don't want myself to feel tied to having to buy it. I mean, not that I would have to at that point. I could change my mind, obviously. But so I don't actually keep a list. And it was like, it's kind of like, what's that last thing I was like, oh my God, I really need this or whatever. Not that I need, I really want this. I should change that. But
no, but it's funny because watching, your vlog, Simple Casual Chic, by the way.
Plug. No.
Shameless plug. On your vlog, you talk about when you're reviewing something that this has been on your list that you've wanted to purchase for a while, but it seems like you put a lot of thought and energy, and just like you said, like if you still like it down the road when you've saved up enough money to buy it, then you'll buy it.
Right.
So I thought maybe you actually had a physical
No, I don't.
list.
I don't actually keep a list. Yeah. So, because I don't know. I mean, sometimes something else comes out that might work a little bit better, more functional, or like looks better or whatever. Maybe it's waterproof now. I don't know. But like, so yeah, sometimes it changes. I mean, there are definitely things that I have that will probably stay on the list until I actually get them. But yeah, I don't write it down.
That gives me anxiety that you don't write it down, but
you're not buying it, so don't worry.
I know. But like I'm just a list person, me, right? Like I make lists for things that I don't even need to be making lists for, but it's actually seemed more beneficial for you to not make the list, because you might find,
like you said, mind or something.
You may not want it in the time that you've saved up the money, or there's a better version, or whatever the case might be. So that's interesting. Sidebar. Anyways. So what about these national holidays? Have you heard of like National Donut Day and National Oreo Day and National Talk Like a Pirate Day? That's my favorite.
Weird. Okay. So, I mean, yes, so I've heard of these days, and I know that I think there's like numerous for every single day of the year. Like it's not just like 365 of them, right?
No,
total. There's more. Yeah, for sure.
I feel like they're all made up, and people are just like adding them to
Let's just pick a day for whatever.
List.
Yeah. So the only ones that I had ever really like honestly not even like kept track of, but was more aware of, is when I used to like keep up with Katsu's Instagram page more, and it was like National Labrador Day or something like that, because it was more of like a promotional thing to like to get people to look at his photos. But otherwise, no. I mean, National Donut Day, I mean, that's an excuse to go buy a donut. I guess I would do that. I don't know. I don't pay attention. Like I said, I don't pay attention to these holidays when there's too many.
I don't pay attention really either, but I listen to enough podcasts and radio shows.
They mention it.
They start talking about it, and then I'm like, oh yeah, we really need to celebrate Talk Like a Pirate Day. And I'm just like, it's silly, but it just makes me laugh, so I'm all about it. And I think, when you're working with a team, it's sometimes good to have some like team building.
Something funny and like, it kind of brings people together.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think one thing that I'm trying to make a conscious effort to remember a little bit better is like Earth Day. So like for me, I've been looking at more sustainable stuff and eco-friendly options and whatever. So I think that's one. It's not like,
but I feel like that one's been around a lot longer than these like National Oreo
random
days.
Ones. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel
I
like
also
that's
don't eat
pretty.
Oreos, so I'm not going to remember that one. But
I don't know what it is. I just know there is one. What about bachelorette parties, wedding showers, things like that? What is your thoughts on those?
so my thought, I don't really party. I mean, it's fine if you do. I just don't. I don't drink. People think
Yeah.
it's weird. Usually people are like, what? You don't drink? Like, it's surprising. Or they think like something is wrong with me. Not wrong with me, but like they're like, are you taking some medications that you can't drink? Like, I
That's
get all.
intrusive.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
I'm dying, everybody. Like, no. You can
jeez.
edit that part out. But like, yes. I mean, people do ask me questions about that, but I mean, I just don't. I was a person who went out for a short period of time in my life, like 3 months after I turned 21. Like, you can literally ask people who knew me back then, and literally it would be like, Shelly, didn't you just go out for about 3 months after your 21st birthday? Like, literally people remember 3 months for some reason. I wasn't trying to make it a point for only three
Yeah,
months,
that's
but
fair.
it was for a very short period of time. So for myself, I didn't do a bachelorette party because what was I going to do? Go out with my friends and then my friends would get all crazy and I'd just be like, la la la. Like,
Taking
that
care
didn't
of
make
them.
sense, right?
Yeah.
So I did have a bridal shower instead, which was a little bit more my speed, kind of like a lunchtime thing. And like, people get together and talk story and have lunch. So that's like my take on those kinds of parties. But yeah, what about you?
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a partier either in general. I don't drink a lot. I don't go out a lot. I think maybe I did a little bit more when I was younger. But I also didn't really understand the importance of a bridal shower. I just didn't get it. And so I wasn't too big on like, I need a bridal shower. I was like, I'm just going to pick one. And if I were to pick one, I'd probably pick the bachelorette party just because it sounds more awesome to me. I don't drink very much. So let's party. Let's,
Yeah.
let's have some fun. So that's why I chose the bachelorette party, and I did not have a bridal shower.
Yeah.
But I don't judge anybody who does.
I think it's
like,
just up to preference.
yeah, and I don't mind going to bridal showers either. They're nice and having a nice lunch. Yours was really nice too.
Yeah.
So it was great.
Yeah.
What was I like, 8 months pregnant?
Yeah,
think I was
I
real
think you,
pregnant.
yeah.
I was
7 or
real
8
big.
months probably. And I mean, for me, I think also too, I think when I was going through the wedding planning process for myself, I did so many things independently or with just a few friends that I didn't really get a chance to incorporate like family members into that whole mix. Like when I went shopping for wedding dresses, like only my friends came with me. Like,
Yeah.
my bridal party came with me. And I would say that the demographic of my family tends to go a little bit on the older side. So also like a bridal shower, at least they could come, they could do something extra than just show up to the actual wedding. Right. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's true. Did you have a rehearsal dinner?
I had a small rehearsal dinner only for the wedding party and like our parents.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that was
Makes
it.
sense. Well, that's it for this episode. Thank